Hello. Hi, everyone, and welcome. I hope everyone is having a great start to their ETHCCC, and the first day for you is as inspiring as it was for me. Additionally, I just want to say thank you to the ETHCC staff for making it so amazing and making us all feel so welcome, and I really appreciate this opportunity to speak to you today. I am Stacy Quackenbush. I am CEO of Third Academy, and we are really positioned to reinvent the future of work, to innovate on education in the Web3 space, and to onboard the future of Web3. So today I wanted to talk a lot about what it means to be an educator in Web3. And every single company here is an educator. You may not think so, but as I talked to one founder yesterday, people are educating as fast as they're innovating because the space is so new and the advancements are happening so rapidly that each of us is creating messaging either internally to our future consumers or through our marketing that is really education focused. At Third Academy, we have decided to take the approach to invite everyone in, to really be a support system for all new companies, for their content, for their ability to onboard the best and the brightest with a platform and with metaverse campuses. Some of the ideas that I'm going to talk about today are some of the ideas that we're working on. So the new education landscape in Web3. Today we're going to take a stroll through metaverse, gaming, tokens, blockchain, and credentialing. All of these areas are familiar to all of us, but what does it mean in the Web3 educational landscape? Let's start out with metaverse campuses. Came across a really interesting statistic a couple days ago where there are 400 million people worldwide using the metaverse. That was a lot higher than I actually had considered. There's an anticipation that that number will jump up to 600 million in the next 3 years. 70% of users are using the metaverse for non-gaming applications. Now, when you think about this, and you think about the applications for education, they're quite substantial. Now, at Third Academy, it was really important to us if we were going to include metaverse campuses in addition to the platform where we're aggregating the best and the brightest content, they had to be photorealistic. They had to be a direct connection from what you do in the physical. And because we were finding that the majority of our students are from the continent of Africa, Asia, and India, it really made sense that everything we do is mobile and browser-based. So let's talk about courses, workshop, panel discussions, job fairs, pitch sessions, hackathons. All of these things we do in the physical, we can move to the virtual. Courses and workshops, you have this added capability with the metaverse where you can, in real time, bring in a 3D object that floats among us, that we can turn upside down, that we can analyze. You have the ability to have a space that's open 24/7, which is really great when you're building worldwide projects. The other thing you can do is you can expand your job fairs, your pitch sessions, your hackathons as extensions of things like these conferences. One of the things that's always amazing to me is that conferences, you go in and you have a high for 3 days or a week, and then the conference ends. You made all of these relationships that you have to kind of scurry and keep connected with. When you bring your conference into the metaverse, you have the ability to keep this vibrancy alive in between the IRL events. So, building a network effect of community and innovation. Love it or hate it, Meta did something really interesting when they launched their first metaverse, Horizons, is they went and they scoured the world for the best and the brightest community builders. That's a really interesting thing. Horizons has a lot of communities that use their space regularly, love it or hate it. And one of the things that we did, one of the things I did was recruit one of those top people immediately. And I'm happy to say that we launched 3 metaverse campuses in the last 3 weeks, and they are fully reserved. Why? Because we seeded it. It's like building a colony on Mars. You need to pick the right people with the right intentions to come and create the events, to build for you, to build with you, and to support the overall vision. So we need to educate education differently. Now, this is where I want to leave everyone here with the idea that they're going to go forth and set new intentions, right? What we want to do is look at our teams, look at the educational marketing that we're putting out. Is it ordinary? Are we doing anything playful? Have we innovated on it? We've got all this technology, but we're still doing dry blog posts. We're still doing talks that are not interactive. So I challenge everyone to really consider this. So let's talk about gaming. Gaming is a huge industry. You don't need my chart to tell you this. But are we thinking in terms of gaming strategy when we reach out with our education initiatives, with our marketing? Why do we want to do that? Oxytocin and dopamine. The same reasons we all go to dance parties, the same reasons we all want to play. Have we integrated play into what we do? Even think about your internal teams, right? Like part of what we think about at Third Academy with our platform is, we're aggregating content, we're creating user profiles, but we're connecting people to their future employment opportunities. The future employers are living in our metaverse, right? You have this ability to create a unique new way to operate. Let's take advantage of that in this moment, right? New technology should mean new thinking. Once again, immersive events build communities. What are you doing to reach out to other groups? Where are you collaborating? Most importantly, are you thinking in terms of diversity and inclusion, right? Now, here in the Web3 moment, we have an ability to do that bigger and better than we ever have before. So, let's talk about incentivizing participation. Incentivizing participation keeps people loyal, right? Everyone wants to be aligned with communities that support their ideas, communities that make them feel loved, involved, and included and appreciated, right? That's all why we're here at ECC, because we feel appreciated, we feel supported and understood by this community. So keep that in mind when you're building virtual events. Keep that in mind when you're educating. Make sure that you give people on your teams the opportunity to get greater credentials, more skills. Don't just say it. Offer up the time and the space within your organizations to make that happen. Issue POAPs, and don't forget about things like that, and award tokens. So, I'm just preaching to the choir with the next slide, but blockchain has enhanced transparency. So when we think about educational records, the ability for us to utilize our wallets as certification of our skills in Web3 is going to change a lot. It's going to make it a lot easier for us to vet future talent. It's going to be a lot easier for talent to actually prove they've got the abilities they claim they do. We've seen this over and over again, whether or not you're on the hiring side or you're looking for a position. There are people out there that claim they have the skills that they don't in this space. And this is about to change. Additionally, we think that your wallet will replace your resume. That old system, which is still in effect, it blows my mind that if you are looking for a position, you are literally submitting this document and you're refilling that form out with every company. Really? Is this as good as we can do? Is this how you want to find your future talent? Is this the kind of organization with all of this technological capability that this is the best that you can do? Like, I want us all to really think about that. I think that if we advance the systems, we will have more trust in recruiting. The best talent will naturally rise to the top. One of the things we're looking at Third Academy is creating a system where your profile is not about who you like. It's about, or who you follow, it's about what communities you participate in. Where did you go? What did you do? What are you working on? That, we think, is really robust. So let's talk about disrupting education. One of the things that infuriates me generally in education, and there are quite a few things, as you can tell, is the average student loan debt worldwide. Really? Really. We're gonna tell our young people to get educated, to go into debt, fight your debt, and then find your career. This has got to change. And Web3 has such the power to do so because it's advancing so rapidly and it's available online that people anywhere in the world can get credentials to get a job that pays them better than they can get in their local community. Another infuriating statistic, being from the US, this one blows my mind. The federal government holds debt on $1.6 trillion. The students of the United States owe $1.6 trillion to their government. That is absolutely obscene. So we need to create a system where people come to Web3 to get educated and get rewarded, where that reward system empowers the oxytocin, the dopamine that makes us feel like we can accomplish anything, that makes us want to work harder for the companies and the communities that we're joining. Why is this all important? Let's talk about diversity and inclusivity here. If we've got the power to educate, we have the power to be intentional. In 2022, $238 billion in venture capital was disbursed to startups. That's a staggering figure. But where did it go? This blows my mind. Female founders got 1.7%. Think about that. This is 2023, 1.7%. If you were a female minority, if you were a person of diverse background, you got even less. This, to me, is not about prejudice. It's about the opportunities for women and minorities. We really have to support that moving forward. We have to make that a priority in all of our organizations. Why? Because we actually perform highly. We actually execute at a very, very high level, and that can't be underscored. When I think about the lack of inclusivity in education, I wonder, how much brilliance are we missing? How many brilliant people throughout the world have we not seen? What ideas, what type of innovation have we not integrated into our companies? So what can we do? Let's educate through play, in IRL and virtually. Let's look at immersive experiences. Are we utilizing all the best technological tools to not only educate our own teams, but to educate and onboard the public? That, to me, is super important. Let's incentivize learning at every aspect. When we talk about incentivizing our internal teams, when we talk about external events, invest in and recruit members. Like, if you are going to promote somebody, make sure you make it public. Make sure you make a big statement about it, especially if it's a woman or somebody of a diverse background. We need to celebrate this more, and we want to provide credentials and POAPs. So, Web3 community education. Once again, I'm Stacy Quackenbush from Third Academy, and these are images from our first 3 metaverse campuses. Our total goal is to support new companies and to support the onboarding of people to Web3. So if you are producing educational content, if it is podcasts, blog posts, courses, let me know. We're happy to broadcast it and publish it in a greater way to a bigger community. And we're also welcoming new people into our metaverse campuses for co-working, for education, for workshops, for teaching people. Once again, Stacy Quackenbush from Third Academy. Thank you all.
Maybe if somebody has questions.
Hi, thanks for a great talk there. I guess this is more of an observation, but education as an industry is kind of in a changing moment. COVID accelerated a digital transition towards digitized learning. And then the founder of Stable Diffusion has a bunch of side projects going on, and he deployed AI agents to deliver math and literacy curriculum in a refugee camp. And the kids there were getting scores that were above what kids are attaining in normal sub-Saharan African schools. So it strikes me that you're in a moment that really allows you to capitalize on a lot of trends, and you could own a lot more of the delivery of education with these new digital tools and integrate these gamification and incentive mechanisms on top of that to amplify reach and engagement. So yeah, just an observation. And
I love what you're saying, and I really do believe that AI is a critical tool. There's a lot that you can do in the world of education, especially virtually and especially in immersive experiences. So like real-time translation of courses, like that is absolutely something we have built in so that you could have a myriad of people in the same room and each person in the metaverse is getting their own language. And that's really important, right? Because we have the ability then to collaborate worldwide and span distances. And I think the innovation that'll come from that is pretty extraordinary. I think that AI also in the future of work is really pretty important to us as well, because your wallet and your ability to match make people very seamlessly, at least criteria and credentials, it just speeds up the process so we can get rid of this archaic system of how people apply for jobs and get hired. It just blows my mind. Thank you for that.
I have a question too. I did not quite understand how is the system working for the educationer? How do you create a system that educates the people? Are you hiring people directly, or are the projects supposed to reach out to you, like the educator is supposed to reach out to you and say, we want to educate in this field, we want to do this and this, this and this way?
Yeah, great question. So the way that we're doing it is we've built a platform where we aggregate the best content. So you could submit content to us. We're actually looking actively for content. And as a user, you would go in and you could put in whatever topic you're interested in studying, and you would get all of the options. And the options would be ranked by community members. And additionally, you can organize what you're searching for by type. So you could say, I want a live class, I want a metaverse class, I want evergreen content, I want information that's a blog post. Also, you would have a user profile. Your user profile is where it logs in via your wallet all of the credentials that you've earned via our platform, all of the events that you've attended via POAPs. And each community that provides the educational services and the credentials has a page as well. All of this links back to the metaverse. So as you sort through the courses that you want to study, you could take one in the metaverse. Additionally, you could set your profile up so that you're getting real-time notifications that there's a job fair happening live in the metaverse, that there's a pitch contest. You can get notifications that you're now invited to attend a hackathon. So you've got this ongoing community that not only educates, but provides a social fabric to keep you interested and provide you with collaborators and consultants and job opportunities.
Would that also be possible to be applied to simpler topics for like little children, substituting schools, or like offering schools in really poor countries in Africa, for example, that cannot go to school?
Well, that's a really great question, and the majority of our current students, we've had over 2,000 to date, and we haven't launched publicly yet, have been from the continent of Africa and from India, and we've actually hired some people from Africa. But to your point, as far as primary and secondary school education, that is on our roadmap, and everything that we're building here for Web3, we can reproduce for different areas of education, and we're looking at doing a version for primary and secondary school students that is gated in a different way. So you've got edited security. Having worked for Zigazoo as their Web3 advisor, the largest social media app in the world for children, I'm very much aware of the security issues regarding that, and that's kind of in our future sites, but right now we're focused mostly on Web3.
Thank you for the talk. It's one of my favorite topics, gamification and education. And I have a question regarding, like, for example, me also, I like remote working and all this stuff, but how you are doing, what are you doing with feeling of presence? Because it's still very important when we talk with each other in person, seeing eyes not in like flat or not in your avatars, because it's quite important to understand easier or to ask silly questions when you see the person very close.
Agreed. And that's actually been something really important to us as well. So in the building of our metaverse campuses, which are also co-working spaces, so any company that comes in will have these spaces to have people have meetings and whatnot. But you have the ability to have your avatar pop up a screen. So almost like a thought bubble, and you could see faces. So sometimes when we have meetings in our metaverse, we want them off, and other times we want them on. But I do understand what you're saying. It definitely is that need. Additionally, we went with a hybrid avatar Unreal Engine Ready Player Me so that we got as close to reality as possible, and the ability to create your avatar is as simple as letting the camera on your login take a photo of you. But I agree with you, and that's how we remedied it, so that you do have the option to turn it on if you need it.
Yeah, thank you. Maybe also scanning could be in the future, because there are scanners for scan, and
Yeah.
maybe if you translate your face in 3D, it could be
Yeah, I love
better.
that.
So you said there's a reward system.
I'm sorry?
There's a reward system for the students.
Yes.
So you're trying to pay them by tokens, like gamify it for their achievements in the system.
Yeah,
Can
so
you
our...
make- yeah?
Completely. Yeah, it's in the pipeline right now. And one of the things that we're really considering, like I said before, everyone in the space is essentially an educator, because we all have to put out content that supports the technology. So we're really looking at ways that it's not just only Third Academy's incentive system. Each different player in the space, each community that provides content or experiences can create a token system that suits their needs. So that's the thinking. So you can get rewarded from a variety of different sources in different ways based upon how they want to incentivize the potential students or employees.
Yeah, just following on from that, if you are giving providers the freedom to design their own incentives, that happens to be one of the hardest problems to do and get right.
Yes.
Aren't you going to offer them some sort of like boilerplate solutions? And what testing are you doing around all of that sort of stuff? Because creating a sustainable, that's why a lot of us are here. We haven't cracked that yet.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely correct. That is a really challenging problem in this space, and we're working really diligently in bringing in some of the top talent that we can find to help us with that solution. Yeah, completely agree. In the interim, it'll be an internal Third Academy reward system, but eventually it really needs to be a reward system that different players can contribute to, and I think that's the only way that it's going to be really meaningful for everyone involved.
Thank you, Stacy.
Thank you, guys.